just bought her a desk, and my dad's up north, so I had to help like unload it out of the truck, and I helped put it together yesterday. And I didn't realize what a fucking chore this desk was. Like, I opened the box, and it was 6 layers of pieces. Because it wasn't enough that it was just a desk. It's one of those fucking ottoman ones where there's like the actual desk, and then there's like the cabinet hutch thing. You have to connect the two together. And I was like, it was literally, we were working on it from like 4:30 to 11:30 last night.
Man, that's been my fucking life for the last month. Like, literally every day I have a piece of furniture to assemble. Like, there was like 2 dressers that I put together. It took me like 3 fucking days because they were in so many pieces. Like, each dresser had literally 50 pages of instructions. It was fucking insane.
Yeah, there was like 26 steps, and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, dude, it's been 3 hours, and we're on step fucking 6, and this is where we're at. And my mom was like, towards the end, because then we stopped for dinner and whatever, and she was like, oh, like, you can just come over tomorrow and we can finish it. I'm like, no, no, no. I was like, we're finishing this tonight. I'm like, I'm fucking sore from getting up and down off the floor. I was like, I'm not fucking around with this tomorrow too.
Yeah, I agree. I tried to do it. There's some nights though where it's like it was like midnight and I'd just been I work all day and then I work all night on like doing manual labor on the house, and it's just been like madness. Should we start the pod, or I didn't realize we hadn't actually started it.
I was like, yeah, we're technically going, but for in case you're wondering, this is episode 25 of the Nothing to Play podcast. I got the boy Tanner Coach back on. It's
Yo.
Yeah, it's been 3 months since he was last on. It's weird to think that it's just started working from home the last time he was on, and it's like he's moved. He's got like 2 more cats now since the last time I talked to him.
We were both in our 20s the last time we did the pod.
God, yeah, that's a fucking trip to think about. We're both 30 now. I was like, my hairline
gross.
shows it.
I like 4 days after turning 30, like on the day that I turned 30, I had like the most grisliest beard like I possibly have ever had, and then like 3 days later I completely shaved it off and I looked like 5 years younger. And it's been a few weeks and like I still look like considerably younger than I did like a month ago. Just because I've never not had facial hair since I was like 19.
Yeah, it was like the day I turned 30, my left knee hurt for no fucking reason. And I was like, this is it. This is how it's going to be from now on.
Battling arthritis for 20 years has made me always feel really old.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I have, after putting together that fucking desk for my mom, I feel like, because I've always had like, from drawing for so many years, like slight like arthritis in my right hand, like after so long it just fucking hurts. But my mom was like, the instructions were like, don't use power tools. So she was like, oh, we're just gonna hand screw all this shit together. I'm like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding. Yeah, I was like, so, but my dad, like, I was looking for the drill in the garage and I couldn't find it, and I was like, fuck, dude. And I was gonna bring my drill over and I forgot. So I was like, whatever. I was like, she doesn't want to use power tools. We'll just hand do it. And we got to about step, I think 8 or 9, before I was like, all right, fuck this. I need to go get the drill. Because my hand is like destroyed from hand turning and having to like,
Well, that dresser I was bitching about earlier, like, the reason it took me so long is because my drill died like on step 1, and the charger for it was back at my condo. I was like mid-move, and so I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just use the screwdriver. And like 3 hours later, I was like 40% done. And I just wanted to, hey, dude, I had such terrible luck during the move, like embarrassing things. Like, there's a point, like, we're almost done, like, having everything out of the condo, and we just had, like, some clothes left in the closet and, like, some small things, and we just had to gather up all the trash and just completely clean the place so that the new people moving in would have a nice place to go there. It was, like, some friends of ours took over, so, like, that's cool. We, like, kept the place in the family. But, the funny thing was, like, there was all these trash bags that they set aside, and like it was like me and Chantel, and then like her mom and her stepdad, and they're both old, and so basically I'm always doing all the heavy lifting, like because I'm like the only dude there that's also like doesn't like break in half just from like walking down like 5 steps of stairs, you know.
The only
so,
dude
like,
there who's fucking stacked.
you know it, and so like there's all these bags of garbage, and I grabbing them all and I just toss them all out, and then the next day, like she's looking through her stuff and she's just like, where are all my pants? Like I had every pair of pants of mine, it was like left at the condo, and we had those bags of clothes, but they're gone. And and I was like, I don't know, man. Like then that day we went back one last time, and I took like a broom, and I went, and like the dumpsters are like the good thing is like the dumpsters like in the ground, so you lift the lid up and you can just like look down in there. And I had like a broom, and I was just shifting around like all the bags of garbage and all the stuff that was like from the previous day, and it was like all of our stuff just in there. And I didn't see them in there, and I was like, okay, they must be back at the house somewhere. So we finished up, completely done with the whole condo. Everything's empty. We go back the next morning. She's like, all right, where the fuck are my pants? Like I can't find them anywhere. And I was like, well, I looked in that dumpster, like just poking around or whatever, and and I was like, I didn't see them. And she's like, well, they're not here, so they've got to be in there. And then I was like, she's like, do you remember throwing those bags? And I'm like, yeah, they were all bags of garbage. Why would somebody put one of the bags of clothes like in a garbage bag, like, and pile it in the pile of garbage? So it's like, of course I threw it away. So then the next day, so it's been like 3 days, and I have to leave work because she's freaking out about it, and I drive all the way over there, and I go dumpster diving, and I'm grabbing every single bag of trash and just like looking at it, and at this point other people have been throwing their stuff away. It's been 3 fucking days, and I go through the whole fucking thing, and lo and behold, the very bottom, the very last bag that I hadn't looked at was her fucking pants and belts are all in this bag. And I found it, and I throw it out, and I jump up and I climb out. I put it in my car, and this dude sees me coming out of there, and he starts like booking it, and I'm like embarrassed as hell. So I just get in my car, and I just like, hightail it, I back up, and he's like trying to block me from leaving. Like he's like standing in front of my car because he saw me like dumpster diving. He's like, man, this is humiliating. I just had to dive in trash to find my wife's fucking pants, and now this guy's like trying to get me arrested because I was looking at trash. So that I just swerved his ass and like hauled ass out of there. But yeah, it was one of many experiences that I've had while moving into a household.
He's like, whoa, bro, you can't just be like, no, it's
hey,
cool.
that's our trash. That's our trash, man. You leave that alone. I saw you throw a bag in your trunk.
I saw you shaking half a bottle of that Downy, bro. Like, you put that back.
Oh, God.
Dude, that sounds awful. Dude, I also don't envy the fact that it was probably hot as fuck, because I remember a point in time where every year when our lease was up, it was, of course, always up in fucking June and July. That's when we had to move, and it's, like, miserable trying to move in Arizona. Like, you have to wake up hella early, and then by, like, 10, it's fucking hot as fuck outside.
Yeah, and things are really odd, of course. Well, as is everything else in the world. Like, during COVID, like, the process is just really different. Like, buying a house. Like, you don't have to go through all the usual measures, but you have to go through a lot of extra bullshit of, like, trying to prove your employment and stuff, even though you, like, will give them letters from your company. Like, and then they'll, like, well, we want to talk to somebody on the phone and shit like that. And it's, like, they'll pull all this shit, like, on the day we're closing on the house, and it's, like... The whole process of buying a house is bullshit. Like, it's a broken fucking system. I hate it. But that's another discussion we won't do on this podcast. But I went off on that tangent and I forgot where I was going. What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about you digging through dumpsters. And it being hot during the summer.
Oh, it was being hot, yeah, and COVID, yeah.
You're so, like, and then the bullshit I barely mortgage system.
Yeah, and then I barely had to deal with that, but they did at one point send a lady to come into my condo with, like, gloves on and, like, a major mask and shit on, and then, like, she'd, like, go over the documents and just had us sign everything there and, like, give them a check or whatnot. But it was just funny just closing it up. There was, like, almost no contact at all. It was, like, super smooth. and we got it. But also because it's COVID, like, and like the majority of like the friends and family are taking this shit really seriously. You like don't have fucking anybody to help you move. So it's like, oh, okay. Like I'm like very short and like old. Obviously, I'm just turning 30 and I like arthritic and stuff. And it's like now it's like my responsibility to like carry like every fucking heavy appliance and piece of furniture like practically by myself. And like we eventually did get like some spurts of help from our family and some friends like here and there for like little bits of time. But of course, everybody was sketchy about it. Like one of some of them were like wearing masks while we were like moving, and I was like, oh god, this is uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, dude, I remember when we moved out of the apartment into this house, and it's like, we lived on the third floor, and it's fucking summer, so it's like nobody, like as soon as you say you live on the, like nobody wants to help you move off the fucking third floor, and then it's like during the summer, so it's like hot as balls out, and so me and Megan literally did like 90% of the moving. And then I had to have my dad help me with like some of the furniture because I'm like, Megan can't fucking lift this because we have to get it over the rail for the stairs and get it downstairs and stuff. And I'm like, she can't carry this and I can't just do it myself. And she had to end up paying her brother too to help us for like a day, like 100.
Oh, wow.
Like 100. Like what a piece of shit, dude. Like yeah, Kale's a fucking
Yeah.
piece of work.
Yeah.
But,
wow, I can't believe that.
But yeah.
Charging your sister to help her move.
Right. And then like Megan was going to school at the time too, so it's like I'm sitting there loading shit up and she's like, well, I need to go to class. So then it's just me at the apartment by myself. Like I fucking had like the worst case of like diaper rash shit because my ass was just sweating so much and my thighs just rubbing against just moving up and down the stairs. Like it was awful.
Yeah. And now I've been adjusting to like the old man life of like taking care of a lawn and pool and all that jazz. It's like, oh god, the pool's been like the bane of my existence, but this past week I finally have everything automated and all the levels are perfect and shit. So like, you bet your ass I've been swimming like every single day.
You're like, for the amount of where you're like now I see why people pay other people to do this shit because it sucks.
Well, it's like they have turf in the backyard, so that's great, but not in the front yard. And it's like we have an HOA. It's like a really nice neighborhood and shit. It's like, fuck, now I gotta keep up with this. Like, I wish it was the reverse order, so like the grass was in the backyard, so I could slack on that shit. But yeah, it's a lot of work, but like it is like you do feel like a old man with like a beer outside just like nodding your head because like after you go through all that and it looks like beautifully, you're like, damn, I feel great. Like I just conquered that mountain.
I know, I really need to pay someone to trim the trees in my front yard because they have not been done since we moved in like 4 years ago. So they're like overgrowing and there's like piles of fucking dead leaves like under them and shit. I'm just like, yeah, I should really get this taken care of, but it's like I like swept the porch up and like raked up a bunch of pine needles and shit from the trees across the street yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I want the front porch to at least look nice so that when the DoorDash people come and drop off stuff, like it looks like someone actually lives here.
But like at our place, our house is like a 2-story, and it's like every like fucking ceiling and shit, or like anything that's of importance is like really fucking high up there. And like I've looked at it, and like any ladder that I could get to like reach the things that I need to get is like $400-500. It's like, fuck, I'm not gonna get some massive goddamn ladder. I'll just let it go.
You're like, this is fine.
Great. This is an intro to homeowners.
So I was like, I want you to know how proud. I want to know how proud of me you are that I watched Uncut Gems finally.
I'm so fucking proud, man. It took you much less time to watch that than it took you to watch Into the Spider-Verse.
You're right.
Like, I feel great already. And I don't know what your thoughts are on the film, but your initial reaction told me that you at least found it intriguing.
So I did. So, because I didn't really know what the movie was necessarily about, except for
Do we need to be doing spoiler warnings here, or I know how you go?
Oh, yeah, I don't give a shit. It's like, it's on Netflix. Like, it's fair game at this point.
It just came out like 6 months ago.
Yeah, but it was like up for awards and shit. And normally it's like if you were gonna watch that movie like before the Oscars and shit, you would have done it already.
True.
Yeah, so yeah, spoilers for Uncut Gems if you haven't seen it yet. But
Okay, so you didn't know what it was about.
no, I knew it had Adam Sandler in it, and I knew it involved like he owned like a jewelry store or something like that, and that he was kind of like a hustler. But that was like the extent of what I knew about it. But watching it, yeah, like I was like watching it in spurts kind of throughout all day because I was working and stuff. But like watching it gave me so much like anxiety because it was reminding me of living with Chris because of like just some of the shit he would do where it's like he like intentionally like gave the opal to the dude to basically get his ring as collateral and then immediately go to another jewelry store to pawn it for money to then take that money even though he owes this one dude like 100 grand. Instead he's like, okay, now I'm gonna take this money and place it on a bet. And I'm like, dude, this is some shit Chris would do. Like, I'm like, this is awful, man.
I think Chris was a little less successful than Howard Adams' character in the movie.
I mean, I don't know. Judging by the ending, I was like, it all kind of caught up with him in the end there.
I disagree.
I mean, so for the ending, he like played like, well, and that's what sucked. I felt so bad for him where it's like the first bet he placed, he totally did it. And then he found out that they canceled his bet, so he like didn't get anything. And then like at the very end, he takes like he gets the whatever, sells the opal, gets 100, like pretty much I think it's like almost like 100 grand or like whatever. It's close. It's like 80 grand, something like that. Gets the fucking places another bet. And ends up
it's like 10% of what he thought he was gonna get for it.
Yeah, he ends up winning, and then like he's like winning, and then the dude who he owned money to and stuff, you like end up finding out like partway through the movie that it's actually like isn't his brother? Their family. I don't know if it's his brother.
It's like his I think it's his brother. Yeah,
okay.
Or his brother-in-law or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, they're like in the same family, and it's like one of those moments where at the end like his brother was putting up with his shit, but it's like, you know, he just kind of wanted the best for him, and he was like pissed off that he kept making the same mistakes.
And even he was enthralled at the end. Even he was excited that it happened.
And that's what hurt even worse was, you know, then his brother's like ecstatic that he like actually like did something and it was successful and like he got the money and, you know, it was great. And then one of his brother's goons fucking had a gun and then just as soon as he comes out just shoots him right in the fucking face. And kills him and then kills the brother, and I'm like, dude, I'm like that's fucked up.
But it's like so poetic and perfect of an ending. Like I mean, it's like he peaked. It's like that's like what he did. Like he was never gonna redo that. Obviously, he's in it for the thrill, and like he was never gonna top that. Like as far as like how much heat he had and how big the stakes were, like he'll never top that. So like I feel like he reached like the peak of his life in that moment. And even when he like gets murked, like he's like smiling. Yeah, like and like I just thought it was cool too that it like ended up kind of being like a fucked up little love story too. Like him and like Julia like actually like cared for each other like in the end like quite a bit, even though they're fucking pieces of shit and like were horrible.
Yeah, even though she was like at the beginning of the movie she's like given the weekend and over the pants hand job in the bathroom basically, and then like you find out that she actually like got a tattoo of she's like Howie.
Yeah, they're just psychos, but they like ultimately like kind of loved each other. Like I don't know, he was really horrible to her. Like she was much better to him, but like it's kind of cute. It's like they actually did like mean to be together at least in that moment in time. And she pulled through and she ended up being rich at the end.
Yeah, she's the one that I know I felt so like it's like I feel so bad because she does care for him and stuff. It's like, you know, she's the one who placed the bet for him. And then, like, in the end, you know, she's in the limo with the money and stuff, like, and she's gonna end up going back there and find him with, like, a fucking hole in his head, and, like, the shop's looted, and, like...
Yeah. At least she'll have a big... Oh, she's gotta, you know, be safe and not run into those guys. Who knows? Maybe they'll make a sequel. And we'll see what happens on the follow-up.
But no, it was good. My mouth fucking hit the floor though when he got shot in the face. Like I was like, what? Like, it just like it happened so fast, and it's just one of those things. Just like he lets him out, and you're like excited, you know, and you're just thriving off that excitement, and it's like pop, and I was like, stunned.
It's like the end of The Departed. Like the elevator opens up, it's like Leo right in the face. Oh shit. Oh my god. I love Uncut Gems, man. I love that movie. And you know how much I fucking love basketball. So like all about that movie. And it's the Safdie brothers who made a movie that I've talked about on this podcast before, Good Time. It's a lot like Uncut Gems. It's very fucking anxiety inducing the way they make it. It's like super stressful, and it's like a gritty, like low budget night in New York, and it's just like happenstance. Like it's like Robert Pattinson is like a fucked up like criminal, and his brother has like Down syndrome or something, and like he takes him to rob a bank, and they're like running away with the money, and then they like his brother like gets caught, and it's like him trying to bust his brother out of the hospital and get out of the way, get away from the cops, like one night in New York. And it's like just how like he gets in increasingly more fucked up situations like throughout the night, like, and just making like poor choices, and just where it goes, and you're just like your heart is just like thumping the whole time. I fucking love it. You can watch that on Netflix or Amazon Prime if you want to.
Ooh, I might have to check that out. I know Parasite is on Hulu, and that's another one that I still need to watch. I still haven't watched that one. But
Parasite's great. I rented yesterday. They dropped the new Judd Apatow movie, The King of Staten Island.
Oh, dude, see, surprisingly, I'm not a huge fan. I almost called him fucking Pete Wentz. I don't remember what is his name? The dude from
Pete Davidson.
Davidson, there we go. Like, because they were advertising the shit out of that movie. Like, I'd see commercials for it all the time. And I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of him, but I was like, I actually do kind of want to see that movie.
Well, I love Judd Apatow, and so, like, I'll watch any movie that he makes, but it's definitely more in line with his later works, like This Is 40 and Funny People and that shit, where it's, like, much more on the dark drama side than it is, like, a comedy. And it's like overly long. Like he really doesn't know how to make a short movie. Like even like Knocked Up and 40-Year-Old Virgin were like longer. They were like over 2 hours. And in my personal belief, you should never make a comedy over 2 hours long. Like hour 40, that's like perfect area right there. Like you shouldn't be making comedies longer than that.
So what'd you think of the movie though?
It was okay, honestly. It's like not one of his better works. Like definitely more in line with his later stuff. But like I mean, it was like I said, it was a lot more of a drama than a comedy. But like I mean, Pete Davidson, I've never been really into just like the latest iterations of SNL. I just find like horrible, and I haven't really seen him in much. He was in Apatow's last movie in like a bit role. He was in Trainwreck was the last movie that Apatow made. But yeah, I mean, it's got some good bits, and like I think that Pete Davidson's like charming or whatever, and it's like kind of like an 8 Mile type movie where they like take like situations and like portions of his life and like put it into the movie, or like change it enough to where it's like not actually Pete Davidson in the movie, but it's like a lot about him like as a person. Like his dad was a firefighter who died in 9/11. And then in the movie, like, he's, like, fucked up in the head. Because also in real life, obviously, Pete Davidson is, like, suicidal and stuff. Like, he's had a lot of mental health issues and shit. And so the movie's like that. And the character's, like, just like him. Like, his dad was a firefighter who died. And then, like, he's all fucked up from it. And he's, like, got depression and other mental health issues and stuff.
Because, yeah, that was one that I definitely, like... Because that's what I knew. I knew his dad. I didn't know that his dad was a firefighter, but I remember just from like the Comedy Central roasts and stuff when they were grilling him about his dead parents and stuff. I know his dad died in 9/11. I just didn't know how.
Oh, yeah. That's right, yeah. I don't remember which roast that was, but yeah, I do recall him getting like fucked on. Like with And that's like a part of the movie too. Like his friends always fucking rag on him for his dead dad. Like the joke. It's like some shit that we would have done. Like if one of our friends had like a deceased parent.
I know. I was like, I don't think Brent will still ever let me live down when I made fun of his dead dog or whatever. When I blew the coals out on the hookah, like he held on to that one for a long time.
Well, you always made fun of Chris's dad for like committing arson like all the time.
I mean, I still do. I was like, that's one that I will still be like. His dad is still the Jones, because that one's still fair game because he's still alive. So, like, I was like, I have no problem making fun of Chris's dad for going to prison for attempted arson, and Chris playing chess in the mail with his fucking dad in jail. Dude, like, I'll never forget the day that, like, I saw, like, Chris, like, it was, like, a piece of, like, notebook paper with, like, a fucking chessboard drawn on it, and, like, the moves they were making were, like, down the side, and he would, like, erase pieces with, like, pencil and shit and move them and stuff, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm playing chess with my dad, and I was like, I don't understand. And he's like, oh, well, because my dad's in jail, so we play chess through the mail and stuff, and I was like, okay. Like, I guess that... I've never heard of that before, but I was like, more power to you.
Which one of the, do you know which one of them like had the board, or or how does it work?
Well, the board was drawn on the piece of paper that they were mailing back and forth.
Oh, I just assumed like one of them would like have the board set up and they'd like move the piece so they could keep track of it and then like come back to it. Or I just like what? Or do they just like erase it with a fucking eraser? And
yeah,
move to the next
yeah.
one?
I think he just, because he didn't have a board set up in his room or anything, so I think Chris was just erasing with like a number 2 pencil.
And like the cat runs across the table and like fucks all the pieces of it.
There's
Like,
like
no!
there's like pickle juice stains on the paper and stuff.
You get an angry letter from your dad in prison. Like, God fucking damn it, my bishop was over here, you little fucking cheater.
Yeah, Chris is just like moving his pieces around. He's like cheating, and he's like, you learned from your old man, boy.
He's like, I won't commit arson, but I'll make some skeevy bets and pawn all my shit.
Dude, I'll never forget, because like when we moved into the house and stuff, and like Chris's dad came to visit, he had to fucking sit me and Matt down, and he's like, all right, guys, he's like, my dad's coming to visit. He's like, please do not bring up prison or arson or anything while he's here. He's like, I'm asking you as your friend to please not do that.
Did you resist the
Yeah.
entirety of that time?
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I think I made jokes.
I feel like you would do it. I feel like you'd be that guy that would go there.
No. Matt is that person. Matt has notoriously done that. Like, throughout all our, like, when Chris brought his first girlfriend, well, I don't know if it was his first girlfriend, but just, like, his first girlfriend that we knew about that he was seeing. I don't even remember what her name was. And it was
that the ghost? Or?
No. This was when I was living with Chris and Andrew at that one apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't remember her name. I think it began with an M or something, but she was some Hispanic girl. And Chris was like, all right, I'm going to bring her over, you know, she's going to stay the night and, like, whatever. And he was, like, you know, telling me and Andrew, like, you know, that he's coming over, like, so, like, don't be, like, fucking weird or, like, anything. And we're like, all right, like, whatever. And Matt was over hanging out. And he brought her over, and he's like, oh, hey, this is my friends, you know, Matt and Justin and stuff. And I was like, hi. And Matt, first thing he says to her, he's like, so how far along are you? And she, like, fucking storms down the hall and then slams Chris's door, because Matt used to joke all the time that Chris was going to knock her up. She was pregnant. So he, right off the bat...
Did she take it another way? Like, as in he was calling her fat or something?
Basically, yeah, because Matt was implying that she was pregnant.
that was a bad joke, sir.
Yeah.
Even back in 2008... That was a bad joke.
But yeah, so right up, and then Chris like punched Matt in the fucking arm, and he was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And like, cause she was, you know, that already set the mood for the night for her, so she was like in a bad mood like all night, and now Chris had to fucking deal with it.
Did he have to run down there and be like, no, 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 it's just this joke where he thinks that I knocked you up? Or
Probably. I was like, we didn't see them for like the rest of the night, so I was like,
he went and rented a hotel. Or no, he wouldn't do that. He would like park in a park somewhere, like in the back seat.
Chris probably like lit up the hookah and he's like, sorry about that. He's like, you want to watch me kill some zombies? He's like, we can play co-op if you want, babe.
We can go to a hookah bar, or I've also got one in my car.
He's
so
like, I can.
Either way, we're set.
He's like, I just downloaded this new hentai. You want me to put that on? We can watch it together. Dude, I'm still friends with. I was just thinking about this today because I saw pictures of her on Facebook because I'm still friends with her. Fucking Chris and Lydia. I was like, I can't believe they're still together. And it just
they got like 5 offspring.
I know every time I see
they're
pictures,
they're like you guys with your huskies. Like you got like a fucking ton of them, and they're all like identical.
Yeah, every time I see pictures of them, I'm like, dude, all I can think of is when we went to Vegas for their wedding, and Lydia got in a fight with Chris or whatever because he forgot her clothes or something and threw her ring or his glasses or something out the fucking car window.
Yeah, I know, man. It was wild. And then like, yeah, I can't believe I was the best man at their wedding. And then like they thought that I was drunk at their reception, and like they explicitly told me like leading up to the wedding like 1,000 times, like, we're not gonna have you do a speech. We don't want you to do that. That's not our style. You're not doing it. And then we get there, and then Chris looks over at me and he's just like, all right, you got to do a speech. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so like I'm just like off the cuff like bullshitting a speech because I barely know these people. Like I was their best man because like he didn't have any other friends. They just moved to Arizona like maybe 6 months prior to that, and I was like one of his only friends, and I was just the person he saw the most or whatever. And like I mean, we had fun and shit and hung out all the time, but like yeah, we weren't like he wasn't one of my best bros or whatever. And then like that happened, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, and then like after that, like they just defriended us because we ruined their whole post wedding or whatever. But we had a grand fucking time on that trip, and the really hilarious thing is like that's like the stupidest thing because like I should have been fucking drunk at that damn thing. I wasn't, and I wish that I would have been, because like it would have been justified, I guess, that they were all pissy or whatever. But it's like I'm not going to apologize for something that didn't happen. I was just like stuttering and stuff because I didn't know what to say. And I was just like bullshitting in front of like 20 people that I didn't know. Like it was just crazy. So it was like, and they're like, oh, he was drunk. It's like I should have been fucking plastered. I probably would have done a better speech if I was.
Well,
I was shit faced the night before, like that's for sure. But
I was like, I don't think helped with that because I know they were shooting me Lydia at least was shooting me daggers because she thought I was like fucked up because I had my Fremont cup drink. And I had brought it like with us, but it was filled with mango, like Arizona iced tea, whatever. But I was just drinking it out of the glass because it was my first like real time doing Vegas because we went to Fremont Street and did the Fremont Street experience.
We weren't even 21 at the time.
Yeah, Troy was the only one who was 20.
We were 20, and we'd have to have people buy drinks for us, but it was arguably probably the best fucking time I've ever had in Vegas, and I couldn't even gamble.
Dude, I know. I remember because Troy bought us all drinks and stuff, and then we like bought the taxi to Fremont Street, and then we were like, oh, we can just walk back to Circus, and we're like walking through the ghetto of fucking Las Vegas, and that dude on a bike pulled up and was like, you guys want to buy some hash? And Troy's like pulling his wallet out, and I'm like, Troy, put that away, please. And then,
curious what the night would have been like. Yeah, I remember Derek eating fucking shit like in front of the Pawn Stars pawn shop, like crossing the street. Like he was just literally walking across the street, and he barely had the amount because he didn't have any money, so he was just freeloading off of our drinks. And like we were already plastered, like just drinking like half of those massive fucking things. We were like kids, and like we got like extra shots of fucking Everclear in them. And like we were plastered, and we were like 90 pounds, and he just like fucking biffed it walking across the street, and he was all scraped up.
Well, see, and I remember Troy. So Troy bought my drink first, and I had like some strawberry daiquiri, whatever, and it was delicious and great. And then he bought all of your guys' drinks next, and that's when he did the extra shot of Everclear. And your guys tasted like fucking alcohol, and you guys were drinking my drink as like a chaser because yours tasted like Everclear. So you're like, oh, let me get a sip of that. I was like, God damn it, dude, you drink all my fucking drink, chasing your fucking shitty drink. It's all pounded with booze. And then we went back to Circus and went to the arcade, and Troy was trying to get like he bought fucking oh god, well hun, what's his name? Michelle's boyfriend.
Kenny.
Yo, Kenny, there we go.
This fucking tool. This guy is on this wedding trip, and we fucking every single person despises this man. Like he was literally like arguably probably the worst fucking human I've ever met in my life. And Troy, drunk as hell, we run into him out of nowhere, and like I'm like so drunk, like I literally like lay down on top of a pinball machine, and I'm just like laying there with my arms spread out, like in an arcade, like just fucked up. Like I'm like I need to lay here for a bit, y'all. Like I can't move. And then he runs into fucking Kenny and just buys him like a $20 drink. Like, and he puts $20 bill in the fucking change machine to get coins for the arcade. We had $20 fucking dollars worth of change to drunkenly use in a tiny arcade.
Do you do the can you do the impersonation of Kenny? I know you used to impersonate him.
He's like, you want some fucking Xanax or some bullshit, man?
He's like, hey, man.
Yeah, he's just like always pilled out of his mind and like just a huge fucking tool. And he never had a job, and he's massive. He looks like fucking like the villain in Popeye, like a Bluto. He looks like him.
Dude, I'll never forget this one time. I went with it was Kenny, his girlfriend Michelle, and then me and Melissa, and we went to. He was like gonna pick something up from Circle K or something, so we pull up, and he was driving. Or no, Michelle was driving. Kenny was in the passenger seat, and then me and Melissa are in the back. And he's like going inside to get something or whatever. Like I don't know if it was like cigarettes or cigarillos or some bullshit like what wraps something. And he like goes in, and he comes running like he's in there for like fucking like 10 minutes, and then he comes running out, and he's in flip flops with like a fucking like 18 pack of like canned beer or whatever, and he's like and it's like in his shirt and shit, and and Michelle's like, Kenny, what the fuck? And he's like, fucking start the car, Michelle. He's like, fucking start the car, and then jumps in, and like we drive off, and like we're like driving. She's like, what the fuck, Kenny? And he's like, what? She's like, why do you fucking do this shit? And he's like, he's like, you fucking, they don't chase you, man. Like, it's basically free beer, Michelle. I don't understand why you're fucking mad at me. And I'm like in the back seat, like, is this real life?
Fucking
right now?
Miller Lite doesn't grow on trees, bitch.
Like, I need fucking 3 of these to fucking start my morning, Michelle. Like, I don't understand what you're fucking pissed off about.
Oh my god, that's so hilarious. Oh man, and this dude is like easily over 300 pounds, and it's like running in flip flops.
Yeah, he's like wearing
oh
the worst shoes to do a beer run in the history. The only thing worse would probably be barefoot, but it probably would be less awkward to run barefoot than it would be in fucking like toe thong fucking flip flops.
We went to the lake once, that same group of people, just minus you, and with Derek instead. And we went to Lake Pleasant, and we were getting plastered like all day there at the lake. And I was probably like fucking 18, 19 years old. And like we run out of booze, and we got to go get more. And I'm like smoking some ganja in the car, of course. And we go leave the lake, and because we were there early in the morning. And it's like they have a drop box to pay to get in if like somebody's not there to facilitate. And of course they're like, I'm not gonna drop money in this fucking thing. That's stupid. And we come back, and there are people there, and he just blazes through the gate, and he's like parked in the spot over down by the lake, and then like the rangers start coming up and they're talking to us, and they're like, "Hey, we're looking for these people. It looks like there's a car like similar to that like up there. Is this you guys or whatever?" And like, no, I think it's like these people there like across the way or whatever. And they just kept coming up to us like, "We think this is you guys. You did this." Like, no, 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 that wasn't us. And then like they kept like, "Where's your receipt or whatever?" And we're like, "No, I think it's those guys over there." And then they like went over to those people, and then we just like booked it out of there. It was just like constantly just stupid shit like that. It's like that's the good thing about getting older. And like I was never somebody to like I never stole shit or like did stuff like that. I'd always pay for something. Well, except for like I was like an internet pirate for like 10 years or whatever. But like I haven't done that in several years. But I used to I'd never steal things. I'd always try to pay my way for like anything. And I just because I've always just been terrified of police, like authority. So like I always try to be a good boy in all that regard, so I can get away with all my other vices. Um, but like so that's the good thing about getting older is like you don't get yourself into sticky situations anymore. Because like the older you get, the less it's like, oh, I just hang out with all these groups of people, and it's like, no, I'm just gonna hang out with the people that I like when I feel like hanging out with people. And you don't ever get or feel like somebody's like, oh, I want to go do this, and like it's not something you're down with, you're just easily just like, no. like,
Nah,
like
I'm good.
nah. Like I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like you can have fun doing that. Like I'll sit here.
Dude, that reminds me of when you brought up going to the lake. That reminds me, I didn't go because I had to work that day, but like Matt and Jess and Chris and his sister Mara and Rocky and her boyfriend at the time and stuff, they all went tubing down the river, and Chris got separated from them and like ended up with this other group of people and just got fucking like ungodly like hammered, and it was just like could like not even walk level of like drunk, and fucking he ended up getting cited that like for being like too intoxicated in public. And then of course that same trip Mara also got cited at
This
tubing
happened
the
at tubing on the river.
yeah.
Like there was a police officer or a ranger that stopped them midstream, or was this at the end of the
I think
run?
it was like either like during the middle, like when you like break off, or like it was like when they were on land at some point.
Did they let them go back in, or did they have to haul them out?
I don't know if it was at the end or like where it was, but she also got cited because she was drinking and was under 21. So both Stevensons got cited that day for fucking drinking in public. And then like Chris and like Rocky got in like not Chris, goddammit. James and Rocky got in like a fight or whatever at the fucking river because he was wearing like sunglasses or shoes or something. He was wearing shit that he actually cared about to the river, which is a fucking rookie mistake. And like I guess hit rapids or something and like lost his fucking sunglasses or whatever, and then was like yelling at fucking Rocky about it. And so I was like, man, I'm really glad I didn't go on this trip because it sounds like a fucking clusterfuck of like shit went down.
Yeah, dude, I want to go Salt River tubing real bad. I just don't know if that's a thing during COVID, or it sounds like a sketchy thing. Like you just end up getting a bunch of tubes like piled up with a bunch of strangers going down the river, and like fuck, everybody's like smoking cigarettes and ganja and shit. It's all flowing through the air.
You have like your yardstick so that you can maintain 6 feet apart and push yourself away from.
I know
people.
they should just do like social distancing like with groups, and then they're like, okay, this group, you guys go start flowing down river, and then they wait like 2 minutes, like, all right, next group, you can get in the river.
Right. I was like, I mean, people are going to like the beaches and shit in Florida, so I don't think it really matters.
Is that surprising at all? Even if like the rest of the country was back down in lockdown, like Florida would still have like beaches filled. Like nothing's gonna stop Florida from doing stupid shit. Like,
Oh man, dude, did you see that PlayStation State of Play?
I did, yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, dude, I was like, they came out the gates swinging. I'm like, Microsoft's one that they had earlier was like shit in comparison
I couldn't tell you a single thing about what's coming on the Xbox One X or whatever the fuck they call it. Is that what it's called? Xbox One X, the Series X.
Yes. Yes, because the abbreviation for it is Xbox.
Oh, because I have an Xbox One X currently. I think it's like that.
Yeah,
they have the stupidest naming conventions. I just despise it so much. But yeah, like I thought it was a fairly decent presentation. It was like funny. Like Amari texted me like 10 minutes before the presentation started. He's like, "You got any predictions for?" And I didn't even realize that the live event was starting. I was working at the time. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll flip this on." And I'm like, I hadn't thought about it. I was like, if I were a betting man, I'd say they'll probably show like a Gran Turismo game. And then like I turn it on, the first fucking thing I see is goddamn Gran Turismo. And I'm like, I told you, every single time Sony's got a console, they gotta have a boring ass Gran Turismo game to launch with.
You're like Uncut Gems over here making bets. You're like, I'm gonna bet Gran Turismo.
And he said like Spider-Man Miles, and that happened too, but of course it's not like a full-length game, we found out later, which is what I expected, because everybody started jizzing their pants. I'm like, what are you jizzing your pants about? They said it's coming out this year. Like, if it's coming out this year, and we're just now hearing about it, like, that's not going to be a very large game.
Right. I also know, like, the very first thing that they, like, opened with was you see like the Rockstar logo and stuff, and people thought it was Grand Theft Auto 6, and then you found out it was just Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to...
Oh, I didn't even see that. They opened with GTA 5?
Yeah.
Oh my god, why?
But everyone got excited. You see the logo and stuff, and everyone's like, oh my god, like, this is it. And then it's like a bunch of footage from like Grand Theft Auto 5, and they're like, that's right, baby, Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to the PlayStation 5. And you get Grand Theft Auto Online for free on launch day.
Guess what? You always did.
I know. But then, like,
they should have closed with Skyrim. Fuck.
I know. I was like, someone posted a picture afterwards, and it fucking destroyed me. Where it was like Grand Theft Auto from like this time span of like these 8 years from here to here, and it was like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and 4, and then it was like Grand Theft Auto between this 8-year period, and it was Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto 5 on like every console.
Yeah, they gotta cover their bases, man. It's a good game. It's a good game.
And then what else did they have? They had...
I can't believe they started with that. Yeah, I came in a little late. When I turned it on, it was Gran Turismo. Now, that's the one thing that I said to Omari, like, where it started.
Yeah, because there's Gran Turismo. There was they're doing a remaster of Demon Souls, the first game in the Dark Souls series and stuff. So people have been like waiting for that. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's a no-go for me. I respect those games and appreciate them. I cannot participate in them. Every time I've tried I've tried that in Bloodborne, and what's the other popular one? They have another one, right? It's like Demon Souls.
Oh, well, there's Dark Souls and Bloodborne,
Dark Souls. Yeah. I've tried all those games, and each time, like, I'll sink like 3 or 4 hours into it, and I'll have like not even beaten the first boss, and then I'm like, fuck this game. Like, I don't have the time to dick around with this shit. I don't have the patience for this. Like, after I die 50 fucking times, like, I'm done. I don't care anymore. Like, it's not worth it.
Dude, I was really surprised though that they didn't like. There was like a couple games where it was like, okay, yeah, holiday 2020 and like whatever, which I guess is, you know, what they haven't given an actual release date for the PlayStation 5. It's just pretty much they've come out and said it's gonna be like end of this year, but they haven't given like a real date. But for the most
or a price point.
Yeah, but for the most part, like, none of the games really had date. Like, I know, like, you know, Ratchet and Clank or whatever, I'm like, that's going to be, like, next year. Like, the majority of these are going to be next year. So I'm like, is everything that's going to be at launch, is there going to be, like, 1 or 2, like, maybe, like, new games at launch, and then everything else is just going to be, like, PlayStation 4 games that got ported over?
Yeah, you know, I'll get it just for fucking 2K. Like, give me that Ultra HD sweat.
They're gonna be like, you guys wanted it, you're getting it. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, PlayStation 5.
Yeah, and then like I saw like Oddworld popped up, and then I was like, oh, you gonna give me a new Stranger's Wrath? And then no, it's just some trash that I don't have any interest in.
I thought that was pretty wild though. It is like a new Oddworld game. I was like, I haven't seen a fucking Oddworld game in I don't know how long.
But Stranger's Wrath is the only Oddworld game I've ever liked. What else was there? I'm looking through my texts of talking shit throughout. There was a game from Square Enix that like looked interesting. We saw like 30 seconds of it. Looked like a mystical type like third-person action game.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that like everything they showed actually had for the most part like actual gameplay in it, which was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm like spacing out so hard. I mean, the best part was like all the memes afterwards of like the like modem with the two envelopes, and it's like it's the PlayStation. It's like the table and the PlayStation's on top, and then it's like the Xbox is like the stand for the table and stuff.
I'm glad that you bring that up because your mom's comment on that destroyed me.
It destroyed me when I saw it. It was like at night, and I posted a picture that I found somewhere on Twitter or whatever, where someone was like, dude, I got the new PlayStation 5, and it's just a black modem where they stuck two white envelopes on the sides of it. And so I totally stole it and posted it on Facebook, and I was like, man, this new PS5 is wild. And my mom commented on it and was like, you already have this?
And you're like, no. And then she comments again, and she's like, do you want this for Christmas?
Yeah, she asked me if I wanted it for my birthday because we didn't really do anything for my birthday this year, and she's been like asking me like what I want for my birthday, and I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I was like, it's already been like a month like past my birthday at this point. I'm like, really, like, it's fine, but she's like determined to get me something since it was my 30th birthday. So even when I was over there yesterday, she brought it up again. She's like, so that PlayStation thingy, and I'm like, yeah, it's not. I was like, it's coming out at like, I was like, if you want, we can go like half and half on it or something. I'm like, I don't know how much it's gonna be or like something, but I'm like, if you really are like that determined, I'm like, if you can like throw like some money at it or whatever, since I'll probably end up getting it on launch day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be like at least like 500 or 600.
Right, I saw some like this one. I saw an article. I don't remember what like retailer it was. It was some like Asian. They like had a pre-order price point of it for like $800, and I'm like, yeah, there's no fucking way that's gonna be $800. I'm like,
no,
nobody would buy
that.
I was like, people would buy it, I guarantee, but not a lot of people. Like,
yeah,
especially when there's
wouldn't be
two versions
off the shelves.
Like,
yeah. I know. I'll probably go the no disc route. Like, I don't get shit on disc anymore. There's no reason for it.
Well, yeah, there's so many PlayStation sales and stuff, like on like Black Friday and stuff anyway, where it's pretty much the same price as you can get in store. Like, and it's probably going to be slightly cheaper. So I'm like, if it has like a bigger hard drive or something too, because like you're going all digital and stuff, I'm there for that.
Well, even with like discs, you have to download the fucking game on the hard drive anyway. So
well, yeah,
it's not really saving you anything.
Yeah, it's just more of an inconvenience because then you have to get up and fucking put the disc in.
Yep.
And on my PS4, the disc drive, like fucking, I have like one of the original gen PlayStation 4s, and it's like you eject the disc and it takes like fucking 20 seconds for it to push it out. So I'm like, it's gonna get to the point where I'm like, whatever game I put in there, I was like, I better love because it's going to be fucking stuck in there at some point forever.
Yeah, until the PS5. It is goofy looking, but I like the controller. The controller looks cool.
Right? I was like, I don't even know, like, why. Like, I haven't seen anything from Microsoft that's, like, leading me to be like, oh, yeah, I need both consoles.
Well, yeah, it's just like in that fucking console, man. Like, I can't put that anywhere. I can't put that in an entertainment center or anything. It's a massive fucking tower. Like, it's just like it's gonna be ugly as fuck, and like I have nowhere to put it. Like next to my TV, like it's huge. Like It's just nonsensical.
I mean, even the PS5 is huge when they showed like a comparison of it next to like the based off the like
Yeah.
disc slot whatever thing they like showed a size comparison to the PS4 and that thing has like a solid like 4 inches taller than the PlayStation 4.
It's crazy. Do you are you an HBO subscriber?
So Megan, because we've been in quarantine, like Megan has pretty much bought like every subscription service imaginable. So like we have Prime with like the HBO whatever, but then we also have HBO Max now as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you cancel yours and upgrade to Max? Because it's a good deal.
Um, yeah, I think Megan's just paying for like the whatever it is like on the side, because that's my
I canceled my HBO Now and then got HBO Max because it's $4 cheaper for the first year, and you're getting the same content plus more. Oh,
yeah. I was like, cause yeah, she's been like blowing through all the like romantic comedies and like whatever that HBO Max and Prime has and fucking. Last night when we were at my mom's, I fucking put on Step Up 3. That wasn't on HBO. That was on Prime, but I mean they have like all the fucking shows. Like they have the Boondocks, they have Adventure
yeah, they got
Time.
all
like,
of adults. They have all Adult Swim, all of Cartoon Network. They've got fucking one of those weeb things like Crunchyroll, right, or Funimation, or one of those.
one of those weeb things.
Yeah, and then they've got the Studio Ghibli movies and all the Harry Potters, all the DC movies, and all that jazz. So like, it's pretty good. They got all the TCM, the Turner Classic movies. I've been watching a lot of movies from the '60s and shit and '50s since that launched.
Yeah, it was like we rewatched the Harry Potter movies because they were on there. I think Lord of the Rings is also on there.
They strangely have the entire saga and Hobbit, except for the second Hobbit movie. They have the first and third Hobbit movie, but not the second one.
I was like, it's
not that you would want to watch those anyway, because they're trash.
Ooh, I'm like,
I think they don't have the one good one. I think the second one's pretty good, but it's not on there.
yeah, I do enjoy the second, like, because I mean the second one has my boy Benny Cucumber in it, so.
Benny Cumberbatch.
But yeah, we watched all the Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and every fucking romantic comedy and anything that you could fucking find on there. I was like, I just caught up on Rick and Morty because I
have not watched enough of that show. I watched like the first like maybe 5 or 6 episodes. And I've seen the same episode like 4 times, like that. Like, you know that in those situations where you haven't seen a show and you'll just watch a random episode, but then it's like always the same random episode. That's happened to me with Archer and Rick and Morty. I've barely seen either of those shows, but every time I've seen it, it's always been like the same episode. But I have the Rick and because I love Dan Harmon, one of the 2 guys that makes Rick and Morty. He made Community. So I'd watched it for that, but then, like, you know, people got so obsessed with the show and they were so obnoxious about it. Like, then I just kind of like, I don't care.
The fan base turned you off.
The fan base turned me off because it was just like everybody was like, watching Rick and Morty. You watching Rick and Morty? And I'm like, I haven't seen it. I'm like, and they're like, we'll put it on, and they're just like so fucking amped about it. I'm like, yeah, it's a good show. Like, why is there so much fucking paranoia about it? And then. But I do have the VR game that they made, the Rick and Morty virtual reality game, and that shit is tight. I love that game. It's a lot of fun.
I was like, have you been playing a lot more of like the V? Because I know. Do you have just the PlayStation VR, or do you have like a different one now?
Yeah, I got the PlayStation VR. Which did they ever confirm if they're gonna have VR for PlayStation 5?
No,
I've never saw anything about that.
I would assume so, but I mean, they haven't said anything or shown anything for it, so I don't know if they're just gonna leave it to die or if they're gonna try and like make it better.
I fucking love VR, but yeah, I haven't played it that much. The last VR game I was playing was I don't know if we talked about this the last time or if this has happened since then. It's like during COVID, since I haven't gone to the gym in like 6 months or whatever. Uh, like I just need some form of exercise, and I was using VR to try and get some exercise there for a bit because it works really. You sweat your ass off playing some of those games, especially like something like Beat Saber, stuff like that. You'll like really get a sweat going. But there's a Creed boxing game VR, and it's Creed. It's got the actors in it and everything. It's really strange, but it's just like it's like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but it's like VR and it's like actual boxing, and you gotta like guard and stuff. And so like I was doing that for a little while, just doing like virtual reality boxing. It was like a lot of fun, and I could get out like a lot of my like pent up aggressions and shit, and then get a little workout in, and also get those PlayStation trophies. So
there you go.
Like, it was a fun time.
Yeah, I was like, I need to get back on it, but it's like we bought like Ring Fit Adventure and stuff on.
Lucky fucking you, man. I tried to get one during COVID, and they're like $100. It's like, fuck this, man. I'd pay like $40 max for this peripheral. Like, I want it, but they're hard to find. They're like impossible to find.
Well, yeah, I got it before COVID, and even then, even before I got it, like I was just gonna order it off Amazon, and they were like sold out on Amazon, and this was before everyone was locked in their house. And yeah, people on Amazon wanted like fucking like $100 and shit for it, and I was like, no. And I was like, it's not that much. And I went on Target, and fucking Target had it for like the $60 or $70 or whatever that it was, and I was like, yeah, that's what I fucking thought. So I just bought it off Target. But then yeah, COVID happened, and then everyone's trying to buy Switches, everyone's trying to buy Ring Fit and stuff, and there's people just buying the shit up and then flipping it on eBay and shit like that, like doubling, tripling the price of everything.
It's crazy, and I just don't think it was very successful in its initial run, and I just think they stopped producing it, and they just were gonna let it go away. Like one of their failed, like the what's the Nintendo Labo. Yeah, like that. Like, like you go to Target, you could find a Nintendo Labo in the clearance section any day. It's still like $40 or something like that. It's like, I'll give you 10.
Well, yeah, I'm like, that's just what I want is fucking cardboard, like, sitting around. I have enough shit sitting around my house collecting dust and dog hair on it, let alone cardboard that Oswald's gonna either claw at, or I'm like, I don't know where to fuck. Even the Ring Fit ring I had to put in the, I'm like, where the fuck am I gonna put this thing? It's like this big around, and I'm like, I can't just put that like in the table with the controllers and shit, like.
Bring back the DDR pads at home, man. Let's do DDR at home. It's been decades, not since the PS2.
Right? I was like, dude, I remember at one of Alex Preston's like parties in high school for his birthday, they had DDR on the PS2, and fucking Robbie Duarte he had the squish pad, but then he brought his like legit like the like it's 6 inches off the ground, hard, like, DDR fucking light up pad and shit. And I was like, dude, that's too intense for me, man.
Have you been to the, I can't remember the name of it. It's like this, like, really sick arcade bar in downtown Portland.
Ground Control?
I think that's it. It's like in the middle of like downtown Portland, like kind of by like Powell's Books and all that shit.
Yeah. That's Ground
it's
Control.
Like 2 stories. It's got like LED lights inside. It's like really legit. I love that place, man. That was a great arcade bar. Like I'd get like a vodka cranberry, and the fucking bartender would be a glass this big. They'd fill it up 60% with vodka and just put like a splash of like juice in it. I got fucked there like real bad, but like there was like these like 300-pound dudes that like owned the DDR machine upstairs when we were there, and they would like just like work their asses off. They had like towels with them and shit, and then they'd stop and take like a beer break for like 10 minutes and let like Amari play.
Dude, that's like, yeah, the one time when we went there, it was when, like, Not Your Father's Root Beer was, like, new, and it was, like, the big thing that, like, everybody wanted, and they were doing, like, Not Your Father's Root Beer floats at Ground Control and stuff, so we got, like, a couple of those, and, like, me and Alex got a little sloshed and played some games.
We also ran into some people there. I mean, we didn't know them, but they like coerced us into playing Killer Queen with them. And second round, man, we beat them. Like, and I hadn't played it before. It's a cool game. Like, I'd like to play it more. There's a bar on Camelback. Actually, I have played it one other time. On Camelback, I'm trying to remember what their name. Bonus round on Camelback, and like Central, and it's like a bar, and they also have like arcade games there. Like not a lot, but they also are next door to a really cool comic shop. They have like a bunch of comics there you can read and stuff. Whenever bars and stuff are a thing again, I can't wait to go back to those. But yeah, I played Killer Queen there before too. I saw they actually have it on the Switch. I'm curious what it's like at home console.
Right?
Not on one of those huge things.
I've played it, the console one and stuff, and it's good. It's like one of those things though where it's like it's fun, and I mean it's just like the game, but it's one of those things where the joy of the game for me is like doing the like 4v4 like in person, like on the big cabinet. You know, you're sitting there with your friends, like fucking like come on, like getting all amped and like hitting each other and shit. And
I wonder if you could do the 4v4 on the Switch, because you can have 4 or 8 Wiimotes connected to one Switch. I've played 8-player games on there before.
yeah, I think you can still do 4v4. It's just that'd require actually getting like 3 people together with you at the same time.
Yeah.
To play.
Fucking COVID. Damn it. I haven't seen people in ages. I haven't been to a restaurant since like March 12th.
Right? Dude, that's what sucks too, is so we went, like the only people I've really seen are like my parents, Megan's parents, and then Matt. And it was funny because Matt said that Umami, the ramen shop that we go to in Tempe, was like open again. And like him and Jess had gone like the week prior and stuff, and like you were able to sit like in there and stuff and eat ramen and whatever. So we were like, oh my god, like let's go. And last weekend we're so excited because I'm like, dude, I haven't had ramen since like February or like something, because nothing's been open, and it's not like ramen's like you can't just DoorDash fucking ramen. Like, and I was like, dude, we were so excited. We like park, we get to the door, and I go to open it, and it's fucking locked, and nobody is there. And because of the protests and the curfew, they weren't open at all. And I was like, God damn it, dude. I was so pissed. Because Matt was like, dude, it was just open last week. And I was like, yeah, well, last week a fucking cop didn't put his knee on someone and kill him. So I was like, God damn, dude. So then we went to Tempe Marketplace, and we're like, all right, we can do like maybe Korean barbecue or something. So like every restaurant, it was either closed or they were closing at like 6 because of the curfew, and it was like almost 6 o'clock. And I was like, God, dude. So we ended up going to Target and getting shit to like make spaghetti, because like no place is open to get like food.
Yeah, y'all are ballsy. I'm like not doing it. Like Chantel finally broke this week and went out twice. She went to sushi, like with her friends, but I have not been to a restaurant like at all. Like if I can't like just run in and grab it and go back to my house, I haven't done it.
Well, see, and I still haven't even gotten to, since ramen was and that time when we went to Target to pick up the stuff, that was the first time I had been in a Target since this happened. Because normally if we need shit from Target, we just order it to the house, like vitamins, or Megan orders makeup or whatever. Like we just did a Target order today because Megan wanted more lounge shorts and shit, since she only has like 2 pairs, and it's like that's pretty much what we wear all week now, working from home. Right. So
yeah, and there was like back when I was still living at the condo like a month ago, I went to go pick up food from Iron Chef, which is a sushi / Chinese place, really good over in Scottsdale area. But like they were open for like sit down, but like I'd picked up food from them several times during COVID, and they have like saran wrap covering their whole like counter, like all the way around, so like they can't like get in contact with people, and it's like self-serve. They just have like shit sitting out on the tables, and they have shower curtains in between the fucking tables, like everywhere. Just fucking shower curtains, like, to cover up in space between people, and they only use like half of them. It's like, is it fucking worth it to like sit down and eat somewhere when it's like this fucking awkward and strange? Like, just take it home. Like, is it really worth it?
Right. I mean, at least they're open, dude. So like that's kind of the bummer. I mean, well, everything's kind of the bummer with COVID, but like so many like fucking fajitas went out of business, and which is this like Mexican fajita place near Metro Center
Right?
and
Yeah, I
stuff.
saw that.
Yeah, it's been around for like over 30 years, but it's just I mean, they already I guess weren't doing too hot, and then, not being able to serve, it's not, fajitas aren't something that you can really like deliver. I guess, so it's like they just ended up having to close their doors, which sucks because it's like, I was eating at fajita. Like if that happened to like Chinos, I would be like devastated.
Yeah. And I saw like Sweet Tomatoes, the whole chain shut down. They're out of business. That's countrywide. Um, AMC might be going out of business.
Dude, that's what's wild. Like, I'm so glad that, because I mean, I have the A list. I almost said A pass, and I guess so many people, like, as soon as like COVID thing happened and they had to like close the theaters and stuff, so many people were trying to cancel their stuff, and they were
They
like,
just froze everybody's account.
yeah, yeah, they just froze. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, good, because like to cancel it, you can't even cancel it through the app. You would have to do it like over the phone and stuff. So like, I didn't want to fucking deal with that anyway. But it's like I miss going to the movie theaters and stuff.
I know.
Like, that was
Like, it was supposed to be. It was scheduled. Christopher Nolan's Tenet would be reopening theaters on July 17th. They just announced 3 days ago they're gonna push that by 2 weeks now. It'll open on July 31st. So now, tentatively, Mulan is the first movie to open theaters on July 24th. But we'll see if that happens. Doesn't look like it.
dude. Well, it's like I'm excited too because I saw, what's his name, Brian O'Malley or whatever, the person who made Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah, announced that Scott Pilgrim was coming back to theaters in August for its anniversary. So I was like, dude, I want to see Scott Pilgrim again in movie theaters. I was like, I love that movie.
Yeah. They did a live tweet for the 10th anniversary because of COVID. And because they were going to do it earlier, I guess, the theater release thing. And, like, you can go through it. Like, Edgar Wright posted a thing on his Twitter where you can, like, just start play. And you can go through the live tweets as it happened. Like, and it's so much fun. I watched the movie and went along with that, and I had a great time. It's such a fucking great movie, man. It's still baffling to this day how bad it tanked at the box office.
Dude, I know. It's like one of those movies where it's like every, I don't know, like couple months, I'd say at least every year I probably watch Scott Pilgrim at least once, if not twice.
And it's just like, and there hasn't been a movie like it since, like, nobody's tried to emulate it, and nothing looks like it or sounds like it, nothing. It's just like wholly, like, fantastical and original, like, in every way. On a film perspective, obviously a lot of it's drawn directly from the comic, the majority of it, but like, it just style wise, like, nothing matches it. It's just so fucking good.
Right. Oh man, I was like, what else? Dude, I also find it wild that it's like I have yet to even go to your Animal Crossing village.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, like, just this last week I kind of fell off of Animal Crossing finally because I'm just like, I don't know what else to do at this point. Like, I just have some more work to do on my town, but, like, I made, like, a full-on fucking basketball court, like, such, like, arena thing, and, like, I've got, like, an island, Jurassic Park style for my museum, and you have to, like, go through, like, a bridge through the lake to get to it, and it has, like, dinosaurs all around it, like, fossils and shit. It's cool, but, like, I've got, like, a little Japanese section, a Japanese village with the fucking Godzilla thing over it. And yeah, but yeah, we haven't done it. But yeah, this past week is like, I haven't played Animal Crossing for like a straight week. I don't. But I mean, I'd be down to play it sometime. But yeah, it's just like I'm to the point now where it's like there's not much that I can do. I'm not gaining really anything from the time that I'm putting into it.
Yeah, I was like, even for me, like, I log in, like, usually every day or every other day just to, like, collect my fossils. and see like what's in Nook's Cranny and see like what clothes there are. But then like after I do that, then I'm like cool, and I just turn it off.
Yeah, hopefully they'll come out with some DLC for it at some point. They do have the Pokemon DLC coming out, I think, later this week.
I saw that. I was like, dude,
Actually,
I was like, that came like that. I remember so long ago, and then I'm like, now it's like that shit's finally coming.
yeah,
The Iron.
earlier this year I got Pokemon Home, and then I went on my 3DS and I used Pokebank and I grabbed every Pokemon I cared about from every game that I have access to. Like I have every Pokemon game I've ever had still, like even like the original Game Boy ones, but I'm not gonna go through the hassle of like finding like a link to transfer to the SP to transfer to the 3DS or
To
whatever. I'm not
transfer
gonna
to
do
the
that.
yeah.
But all the like DS and higher games, like I went and transferred all those motherfuckers into my Pokemon Home, and all the ones that were transferable at this point, I transferred over to Sword, and then like some of them are locked until this DLC comes out, but they're sitting in my phone like my Pokemon, and I'm just waiting. And then when they're available with this DLC, I'm literally just getting this DLC solely so I could transfer over the rest of my Pokemon from my old games. But then I'm like, all right, let's fucking battle this shit out, man. I'm ready.
That's funny. I was like, one game I've been playing is Bug Fables
I don't know what
on.
that is.
So I'll tell you what it is. It's literally Paper Mario with bugs, like original like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door with
So
bugs.
like turn-based RPG.
Yeah, yeah, and everything's paper. Like legitimately, like everything's paper. Like you go into buildings and stuff, and it opens up like in Paper Mario. Like item system, battle system. Like it is literally like these people. It's like a love letter to Paper Mario,
It
and
sounds like you're more excited about that than the new Paper Mario
I
game.
am because this is actually good. Like
Oh,
this new one, I saw the announcement trailer, and it's like I was stoked,
it
but
looks like a tactical RPG, right?
well,
Or
I don't
something
even
like
know if
that.
it's a fucking RPG. Like, I mean, it has. So there's a new video that just came out for it that's like 10 or 15 minutes long that does like a more in-depth look at some of the mechanics and stuff for the new Paper Mario instead of just like the announcement trailer. And the battle system is now it's like a ring, and it's like there's like multi layers of like the ring, and there's like enemies on certain rings, and then you can like you have to rotate it to like line shit up right to then do moves and stuff. But there's a time limit on it. Like it showed like a timer, so you only have so much time to like position shit to like where you want it. So it's like I don't think it's actually like a turn based. To me, it seems more like puzzle. It has like puzzle elements to it, and it's like it showed the boss fights, and the boss fights are kind of the same way, where it's like you have to like position the ring in certain ways to get to the boss to actually like hit the boss for damage and shit. And I'm like, that's more of like a puzzle element than it is like a RPG turn based kind of battle thing. It's like you have a time limit to adjust this to where it needs to be and then do something.
Yeah, that's not appealing.
Yeah, and like people were saying that like dissecting the trailer and stuff, they're like, I don't even see like experience points. So they're like, what's the point of battles? If is it just to get gold? But there might be experience, and they just didn't show it and stuff. But I'm like, man, I don't know. I'll probably end up getting it and playing it, but I was like, it's just a bummer because I just love the original two games so much, and like the original Mario and Luigi games, and I'm just like, it's like Nintendo doesn't know what makes like those Paper Mario games so good, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if you would just like, I
I
don't.
don't know. All game makers use it like people don't want to play turn-based RPGs. Yes, we do. We very much do.
Well,
Please give them to us.
and I think part of the problem too is that I get what they're trying to do. Like they're trying to do something different. Like they're like, yeah, we could basically make Thousand Year Door 2, but that's not what we do. Like we constantly strive to, make it different like from what's been done before and like do something brand new, which I totally get that, but at the same time I'm like, that's my thing is like if it's so different, I'm like you could do a completely new IP then. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, they didn't have to do Paper Mario. Then they could have done whatever. They could have done like Paper Wario or paper like some other paper game, or do just a whole new game that's
Yeah,
like
like a
paper style.
spin-off, yeah.
Yeah. Instead, but they're using that IP because people love fucking Paper Mario. But then you're also dragging its name through the dirt by making not the game people want in that franchise.
Yeah. Last of Us 2 comes out later this week.
Dude, that's what's funny too with that game is like I've seen nothing but like solid reviews for it, like 10s and 9s and 8s and like whatever. But it's like also everyone I know that pretty much like wanted that game is now with like everything that's going on, and they're like, yeah, this game's fucking like dark and bleak and brutal and stuff, and it's about like a virus, and people are like, yeah, I'm fucking living that right now. Like, I don't know if I necessarily want to sit down and play this game that's like when there's like all this shit going on. It's like the world's depressing enough right now as it is, and then to like play in a apocalyptic world and stuff like, I don't know if I'm really feeling that right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I gotta still go back and finish Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want to get back to that. I've just been so busy with the house.
Yeah, like busy being a 30-year-old adult boy doing adult stuff.
Yeah, cleaning pools, mowing lawns, and talking to people on the phone. That's the shitty thing, man, about especially with the COVID house situation. I already hated talking to strangers on the phone. You just got to do it all the fucking time. Like when you're dealing with the house stuff, and it's like, and she's always like, she works even more than I do, so she's always in meetings or whatever. So then it's just like me all the time, like calling and talking to people on the phone about random bullshit about like your water and trash and security and what have you, your mortgage insurance and all that shit.
Yeah. I was like, and then not only that, but you're also, digging through other people's trash. So.
Yeah, but hey, for 3 days they were in there, and I found them though before they were taken away. So that's the important part. She still has pants for the winter.
For the winter. Oh man, I was like, I know. And then my dogs, because it's summer, dude, they've been shedding like fucking crazy, and they're inside the house 100% of the time now. I will say that's the one nice thing about working from home, is getting to be home for them, because normally it's like during the summer, during the day they would have to be in their crates and stuff, and then come home and like let them out, and then it's like at night it's like it's too hot for them at night, so then it's like they would be in their crates again, and so I'm just like, at least being home, it's like they can be out during the day. And then now at night, we fucking just moved Oswald's litter box and food and shit in the bedroom. So he's pretty much in the bedroom 100% of the time now, so that the dogs can just have free roam of the house. And they've been shedding fucking everywhere. I ended up getting a Dyson vacuum because my other vacuum got clogged with so much dog hair that it like overheated. And I thought that it completely burned out the motor until I bought the new vacuum. And then like a couple days later, I was going to throw the vacuum away. And I was like, oh, let me just plug it in and make sure that it is actually still dead. And the fucking thing starts right back up again. And I was like, God damn it. And I was like, well, now we have two vacuums. So...
Yeah, like a year and a half ago, I got so tired of the fucking cats in their hair. 3 cats in a condo with all hardwood floor. Like, I'd do the floors every day and, like, mop them and vacuum and shit. And then the next day, there'd be fucking hair everywhere. So I bought, like, a $400 Roomba. So I could just, like, tell Alexa to clean the house. And then, like, the Roomba will go clean it all. And that's helped a lot. And now, like, with the house, I got the Roomba for downstairs. And I'll use a vacuum upstairs.
See, I wish we could get a Roomba. Like, the Roomba would probably, like, clog in the first hour and be done.
Yeah, it requires a lot of maintenance. Like, if I use it once, I'm gonna have to take that fucker apart and empty it and shit, because there'll be hair stuck in the wheels and shit every damn time. And she's never cleaned it once, so it's always just me.
Of course.
And she doesn't give a shit, and she'll just tell the thing like every day to go clean the house. I'm like, stop! No, wait, it's like filled to the brim with shit. Like you can't just.
I know.
Do you not understand how vacuums work? Like every damn time, or even just with regular vacuums, the whole thing, you could clearly be filled to the very top with junk, and she'll just turn. I'm like, stop! It's gonna like explode. Look at that fucking thing. You can't even see inside of it.
Megan does that with our vacuum too, where she won't dump it out, and it's like above the max line, and I'm like, dude, there's no more room. I'm like, it needs dumped. Like, you can't just keep like sucking shit into it and hope that it'll just keep working.
It's very perplexing.
And then that's like with the room with. So I was like, one of the other reasons I can't fucking ever. I'm sure one of the dogs would fucking drag it through the dog door outside at some point. Because last night because it's like, leave the water out for them. So to make sure they have water, I have like multiple bowls of water set up for them. And fucking last night, I like had 2 bowls of water set up for them. And I woke up this morning and one of the dogs had taken one of the bowls of water, taken the bowl outside in the middle of the yard, and then fucking pissed in it. And I'm like,
oh my God.
They do that all the time. Like I don't know who's bringing it outside, but Bunny's the one who fucking pisses in it. And it's like, I'd fill up their water bowls outside for them, and it gets dumped in fucking like 3 minutes, and then someone like pisses in it or just tips it over. And I'm like, you guys wonder why you're so fucking thirsty. Like, I give you multiple bowls of water, and then within 6 minutes of getting it, you tip it over, and then you sit there and bitch and cry 5 hours later because you're fucking thirsty because all the water I just gave you is now gone.
You should get one of those like jug dispenser things that they like sit in the bowl and it like drips in water as it becomes more empty, so they can't like move it because it's weighed down.
See, that's the thing though, is they would tip it over, cause
the cats would do that too once it gets low enough.
Cause in the backyard, they used to have 2 of the orange Home Depot buckets of water, and when that shit's filled to the top, like, it's fucking heavy. Like, it doesn't just get knocked over. Like, you don't just knock it over. But what they would do is Atlas would put her front 2 legs in the bucket of water and fucking either dig in it or then knock it over by sticking her whole, like, body in the bucket. And I'm like, there's no winning. Like, I ended up getting, like, a metal fucking, like, from, like, Pet Food Depot, like, fucking farm shit. Got like a metal fucking trough thing to fill with water, because I'm like, alright, this thing's filled with water. There's no dragging this into the yard. There's no, like, I can barely fucking lift this thing when it's filled with all the way with water. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to fuck with this. But then it's like, what ends up happening is it's filled with water. They go in there and fucking, like, dig, and just dump half the fucking water out. And then people go in the water and then squat and piss in it. And then they're, like, drinking piss. I'm like, why? Why do you do this? Like, who has this benefit? Like, now you don't have any water, and then it's like
you just really want to drink each other's piss.
Yeah, I was like, and then you go in the water, and then it's like piss water, and it's all fucking dirty, so then you smell like fucking piss dog, so then I'm like, I just don't want to give you water at all, because it's like more work for me, because then I have to fucking clean this thing, because you piss in it, and get it all dirty, and dump rocks in it and shit. It's no winning.
Well, I'm glad that I will never have dogs.
Yeah, you just have your 3 cat children to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have to deal with fucking Atlas, and like, she wants to play with Oswald so bad, and he's in the bedroom, and it's like he wants nothing to do with her, but then she'll just sit there because they're in the house all the time, and it's like at night, it's like 11 at night, and she's fucking whining on the other side of the door, trying to get to Oswald, and then he's like at the door like fucking with her, and then Megan will like chuck a water bottle at the door to like scare Oswald to make him go away, and she's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm like, why do you keep doing this? I'm like, I just want to sleep. You have anything else new going on?
No, not really. Just finishing up the rest of the move and trying to get back to normal life, I guess.
I was like, that podcast is coming at some point, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Oh, man.
I haven't had the energy for it.
Dude, I get that. Dude, I've been putting in like this week alone, for 5 days of work, I've put in almost 50 hours. And
Yep.
we have pretty much next Saturday, it's pretty much mandatory overtime. And there's been nights where I've put in like 10, 11 hours at work. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like spent. And it's like, that's why half the time on the weekend, we're not even home because it's like, I pretty much associate home with work anymore. So it's like, we'll just go to my parents or like Matt's or like someplace where I'm like, dude, I spend all fucking week in this house and I spend 90% of it fucking working.
Yep. Yeah, that's the great thing about getting this house. It's made things much better for us because now I've got other areas, at least, of the house to be at. So I could just associate this room that I'm in with work. And then the rest of it, I've got so other things to do where now I've got a pool I can get into. Or like all different sorts of shit that I could just go fuck around with.
Yeah, you got those Lego sets that you knocked over to rebuild.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. At least it's just the one. But it is the most fucking difficult one for sure.
You need to do like a sequel time-lapse video of you putting it back together.
Yeah, without instructions. Just trying to fucking figure out how to put like 500 clear pieces of Lego together correctly.
I'm sure somewhere on the internet there's the instructions for it.
Yeah. And then you're gonna just find that I'm missing several pieces now that it's been smashed all over the place.
Yeah, there's gonna be like 2 clear pieces that like you fucking missed and got left somewhere, got swept away by the Roomba.
Yep, exactly.
You're gonna have to order them online.
At that point, I'll just say, fuck it, it's dead.
Just throw the entire thing away. You're like, it was real.
Give it to the nieces and nephews. Like, add it to the collection of random Lego pieces. Like, fuck around with it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have anything really new. Like, I haven't done anything besides just work and try to maintain the house, like, as best as I can. I was like, it's just been, and then it's like so hot during the summer. It's like, I'll let the backyard go for like 3 weeks without picking up dog shit because I'm just like, dude, I just don't want to do it, or I'm not home. And I was like, I'll just spend one like fucking horrible morning filling up like 3 buckets of dog shit. Call it a day.
Yeah. Well, maybe eventually we'll be able to have life again. Well, you're always welcome to come visit my pad sometime. I'm just like 3 miles down the street from you.
Whoa! I know. I was like, I'll give that pool a workout.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, show off my quarantine body.
There you go. Yes. The COVID abs.
Yeah. Oh man, I was like, I did get 3 new tattoos. I got my video game arm is almost filled up now.
I see that, yeah. Looks great.
Yep, I'm like, so I'm going to end up starting on this arm here soon and start filling that one up.
Nice, nice. I don't know when I'll get back on the tattoo train because I do always want to get started on my big piece, but it's a big expenditure and I've got a house to pay for. So we'll see how well this goes for a little while.
Yeah. I was like, dude, Megan's mom just got it. Well, okay. Kale, Megan's brother, just got a new tattoo. And it looks fucking horrible. And he got like a Flash tattoo, but it's like the TV show Flash. And it's Barry Allen like running at you. It's like so the picture he based it off of was already somebody else's tattoo, which is like something that like you should never do. And then it's this tattoo that he's basing it off of was obviously like a 3 or 4 session tattoo, like thousands of dollars, like professionally like done. Like it's gorgeous. It's like a portfolio fucking piece tattoo. And then Kale goes to this guy and is like, yeah, I want this, and gets it in 6 hours for like $500.
Oh no.
Yeah, and
I want to see it so bad.
oh man, dude, I'll have to. Here, wait. You know what? Might as well. Here, I'll text you. I'm gonna text you right now, or message you here. I'm gonna message you on Facebook the photos because I have both of them, and I have what he was. Here is what he was going to get, and then here's what he got. So, and then Megan's mom got a tattoo from this dude as well, and here's what she wanted to get, and here's what she got. And it's just like on Kale's, I mean, at least it looks kind of like the picture, but there's not a straight fucking line in this tattoo, and like the black is not packed in well. Like it is.
Dude, the fucking eye on reverse flash there.
Yeah, it is shaky as shit. Like, look at the Flash logo at the bottom. Like, it's supposed to be a circle, and that thing is wobbly as shit. Yeah, I was like, dude, like, you, like, look at that thing up close. Like, from far away, it's like, alright, doesn't look super bad, but then you zoom in on that bad boy, and you're like, dude, those are some rough lines.
No, dude, that Leia. What is around her eye?
It's supposed to be the Rebel symbol. If you look at the original, it's like the Rebels logo.
Okay, what is around her other eye? It's like,
yeah, it looks like some like Egyptian shit. It's supposed to be shadowing.
It looks like a fish or her eye.
Dude, and
it doesn't look like shadowing at all. It's got fucking lines on it.
Dude, but her face is like an egg. Like, she has, like, an egg face. Like, any roundness in the face is, like, gone. And it's
Holy hell,
you look
dude.
at the Death Star in the background, dude. It's like a fucking oval. Like, it's not even round.
This is horrible.
And you look at those lines in the fucking Millennium Falcon, dude. They're shaky as shit. Like, all different widths. Like, there's not any consistency at all. Like,
dude.
If you never saw Star Wars in your life, like, you'd be like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Exactly. Holy crap, man. That's freaky. The last 2 tattoos I got were shitty, and I broke my code on both of them, and I'll never do it again. I've never been into the concept of, like, $13 tattoos or, like, just sketchy shops, just walk-ins and stuff like that. And, like, back in November, we were in Washington, and on a whim, we were like, let's just get tattoos because we're, like, on, like, one of these beautiful trips in Washington, and we just want, like, some tattoos to commemorate or whatever. And so I got like some mountains and trees and shit on my leg, but we just walked into this shop and it was like just super sketchy. And like the lady who did my leg was like fucking, it was the most painful tattoo I've ever had. She was like skinning me, man, like just grinding in really hard. And there's like a mountain, and the mountains have like really dark lining on the outside of them, and then there's a fucking like a pine tree supposed to be like next to the mountains, and on one of them it just looks like a bush the size of a mountain, like it's as tall as the mountains, and it's like all, there's no tree trunk on the bottom of it or anything, and it's just like blackness there, and it just looks like a massive fucking bush. And it's just like I fucking hate it so much. I'm gonna have somebody fix it. And then right as COVID was starting, it was literally the last time I went out was on Friday the 13th in March during COVID, and I got a $13 tattoo, or they're $20, $24, whatever, some shit like that. And I got a film slate, also known as like a clapper. And it's not good, but it's not the worst thing ever. It's just the lining's like kind of not great there.
Yeah,
but,
it doesn't
it's
look that
for
bad.
Like, yeah, but considering, and I had it done at like fucking 11 p.m. So they'd been doing it for like fucking 12 hours already or whatever. So, you know, it was crazy. And it went fast. And so I was like pretty pissed at first, but like as it's healed and over time, it actually looks pretty straight now, and it doesn't bother me, and I actually like it quite a bit. But I'll never do it again. I'll never get a $13 tattoo, and I'll never just walk into some hole in the wall place that like I'm not familiar with. I just like am a firm believer in you get what you pay for.
Right.
I'd rather just pay $100 for like a small tattoo that looks really good than pay like $20 for a small tattoo that looks like absolute shit. Like, will be there for forever.
I know. I was like, hey, who knows? Maybe over time your bush and your mountain will grow on you.
Yeah, who knows? No, that'll definitely have to get altered at some point. But I just don't want to go through the embarrassment of going somewhere and just showing somebody this and be like, hey, can you fix this for me?
Dude, I guarantee you that, like anyone who does cover-ups, but I guarantee you they've seen worse. Like,
oh, yeah. Like, no, it's not. It's nowhere near, like, the worst I've seen. But, like, as it's by far my worst tattoo. And, like, people don't notice how bad it is, so that's cool. But then when I tell them, like, look at this fucking thing. Like, come and look at my leg and tell me that this is a decent tattoo. And then they look at it and like, oh, man, yeah, that is bad. I'm like, yeah, you just can't tell from a distance.
You're like, come look at father's leg.
Yeah. So, yeah, never again. Only gonna, go to the high-quality shops and people that you trust.
Right. I was like, I need to, I have the 2 on my back that they just need touched up, and it's like, I'll probably do it. So just because it's like, I've had them for 10 years. So it's just like, the black is just like really faded at this point, and like the one's black and red, and it's like, the red is like almost like a faded pink, like at this point. So it just needs to be gone over again and just repacked in since it's been so long. But yeah, I was like, I don't have anything else. Like,
no, yeah, well, appreciate you having me come on again and talk some more bullshit.
Dude, I appreciate you coming. I missed you. Look at you.
Yeah, likewise.
I know. I was like, we're tank top twins. Well, I mean, you're wearing a jersey, but we're still guns out.
You got
that 5 o'clock shadow going.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, yeah. I mean, that's been where can our listeners follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter. I'll be one of the people, if not the only person, resharing the tweet that involves this particular podcast. You can find me pretty easily that way. Apparently, my Twitter handle is TanMan1. I've been on Twitter for 11 years or so that is why it is still that way. If you could change it, maybe I'll do that. I don't really care though, but yeah, you could find me there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm surprised you don't have like a Letterboxd or something.
I do have a Letterboxd.
Oh, there you go.
I do, but I don't really like write things on there or do like essays. I should do that more. I did one for like the end of the decade, and I did one for the end of 2019. So I've got some lists on there, and then I just basically use it to keep a diary of the shit that I watch. Let's see. My Letterboxd handle is
also TanMan1.
It's not actually. It's a Teasy. So like Wheezy or Yeezy, but Teasy, and then 90, which is the year that I was born.
Look at that. You're like, we went from TanMan1 to Young Teasy.
Yeah, just wait until I'm P Titty.
But yes, it's been episode 25 of the Nothing to Play podcast. We kind of did a slow roll, just kind of dive right into it intro. But thanks for listening. Stay safe out there. And, if, restaurants are open near you, go out there and, cough your heart out and spend your hard-earned money on food.
Bring a shower curtain.
Yeah. Don't think that restaurants are just gonna have shower curtains up for you. Bring your own from your own bathroom and put it up between you and any fellow patrons at the restaurant.